Good evening, folks. This is your weekly wake-up call. And I'm going to turn this over to Dave right now so as not to waste any of his 10-minute time frame.
So, the Republicans are the law and order party, right? So the Republicans are not the law and order party. They are the unlawful and disorderly party. They only care about the laws that they create. We've seen that with Governor DeSantis basically suspending and trying to kick out a state attorney in Andrew Warren. And we've seen it countless times, and we're seeing it again with Donald Trump being potentially charged with the Espionage Act for taking boxes and boxes and boxes of confidential documents out of the White House and taking them to his pad in Mar-a-Lago. If you remember, there are leakers that have been convicted and sentenced for years and years. If you remember Reality Winner, if you remember some of the other people, and by the way, even Julian Assange, who was never charged, but nonetheless, he used leaked information, and let's see if he eventually will be released. But now we're talking about Trump, and he's facing serious charges for taking documents out. They're supposed to go to the National Archives, and there are people dedicated to protecting and securing these documents. He's known to fold these documents up, put them in his pocket, take them home, flush them down the toilet, mutilate them, all illegal and all prosecutable offenses, by the way. But just so you know, there's a raw story here saying that Trump is demanding that the FBI return those documents to the place which they found them, because he's claiming that those are what did he say?
Classified.
But no, not classified. It was privileged. They were privileged documents. What does that tell you? He feels privileged.
Yeah. So let me just talk about the place from where they got them. Yeah. They sell that as Trump's summer home. That's bullshit. It's a fucking resort. And all kinds of people pass through there, including leaders of foreign nations, despots of foreign nations, movie stars, actresses and actors, directors, rich people. You know, that is not Donald Trump's summer home. It's a resort where documents that are highly sensitive in nature and highly classified cannot be protected. So Donald Trump is full of shit.
And by the way, if there's a discussion as to how sensitive some of the documents are, by the way, that doesn't matter.
Well, here's what we do know. They took 11 sets of classified documents out with them, the FBI.
Yep.
Some of them were highly classified. Some of them were at the highest levels of classification, which means that they absolutely could not be removed from where they were.
Right.
Prior to Donald Trump losing the election.
Right. And if you remember, going back to Reality Winner for 1 second, she removed one. And I believe it was a classified document, but it was a lower classification. Didn't matter again. But he took out boxes and boxes of physical copies, which again is highly illegal, and he could get up to 10 years from the Espionage Act. And Merrick Garland, by the way, has an absolute right and a duty to go through the process, which Deb, please go to her previous video talking about this. It was a process. It wasn't like the FBI just came and raided Mar-a-Lago.
They exercised the search warrant. They didn't read anything, okay? In order to get that search warrant, they had to literally go before a judge under oath. Prosecutors had to literally go before a judge under oath and prove probable cause. Clearly, they did that. They got their search warrant. It was not a raid. That's bullshit. A raid was, something illegal was what they did during Watergate when they broke into Democratic Party headquarters. That was illegal. What Merrick Garland did is not illegal.
So Trump once said, and this is in a Yahoo article, and I thought it'd be interesting for some people. Trump once said that only mob bosses take the fifth. How many times did he take the fifth? When asked about this, over a dozen times, 24 times. So he did it multiple times, taking the fifth over and over and over again.
Well, he took he appeared before the grand jury in the Letitia James and took the fifth 400 times. Okay. And that was not even related to the Espionage Act. That was related to his business dealings.
So Marjorie Taylor Greene has filed documents to impeach Merrick Garland for his hounding of the ex-president. Also, Kevin McCarthy, same thing. I won't go too far into it other than to say that the people involved are vehemently opposed to this, saying that there are people who protect these documents, protect the country by protecting these documents from foreign enemies who may or may not go to Mar-a-Lago, as Deb pointed out. One final thing. So we have Marjorie Taylor Greene, who just put that in. We also have Lauren Boebert going to a different criminal piece of activity. She's loaded and they have weapons. Apparently, who from her family was like running over mailboxes? It was her husband, right?
I believe her kid was driving up and down the street recklessly, but her husband was also loaded and he ran over a neighbor's mailbox. There's all kinds of 911 calls out there.
Right. And I put a story out there for that, but you'll be happy to know that if the House becomes a GOP run again, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert are looking to be on the Oversight Committee. You have the lawlessness making the laws. Now, there was the chair of this committee saying that he's not going to allow it to become a clown show, blah, blah, blah. We'll see.
The Republican Party is a clown show.
They are a clown show already. But
by the way, all of those Republican lawmakers who are considered, rhinos, but who keep their mouth shut about what's going on in the Republican Party are just as bad as the people who are now destroying the Republican Party. Okay. They're just as bad. They're clinging to their positions and ignoring what's going on and playing dumb. Okay.
So, final thing, we're going to be talking about Ron DeSantis in the longer show, mostly about what he's doing to the education system in Florida, basically ripping it up and making it state government controlled completely. Basically, he wants to take control over everything. But make no mistake, Ron DeSantis is probably going to run for president, and he is stumping with Donald Trump with a lot of these candidates, these lawless, bigoted candidates. Carrie Lake, Doug Mastriano, a lot of these guys. So he's positioning himself as the guy to run. Do you really think that he listens to anybody other than himself? No, he doesn't. So we'll be talking about him later, but please understand the GOP doesn't care about laws unless they write them.
And when they write them, they suck. By the way, one comment about Doug Mastriano, he did appear before the J6 committee where he took the fifth through the entire thing.
Another mob boss.
So, he's another mob boss. All right, we done?
Yep.
I'm shutting this puppy down. We'll talk to you guys soon.